Hello everybody, this is Beth Boyle, Iowatrailrider, and welcome to my leather shop. This is a portion of my shop for my tiny little company, Great Oak Leather. And like a lot of small business owners and grandparents and mothers, I have some concerns about the way that things are happening in our country these days. And I'm an optimistic person and always looking for signs of hope. There's always hope. Sometimes you just have to look for them. So I look for hope in all kinds of things, in my grandchildren's eyes, in the words of my son. I don't so much anymore look for hope in the news. The news seems to want to focus on other things, things that divide us. And this video is really about the things that bring us together. Because regardless of who you are here in our great country, the United States of America, all of us want the same for most things. You know, we want clean water, and we want clean air, and we want lots of great food that we can afford, and we want freedom to travel and to express ourselves. We want good roads. We want lots of opportunities for jobs and a good standard of living. We want good education for our children and respect for each other and our old people. And we want basic protections from those that would prey upon us. We want a good, strong military and the freedom to be who we are. And I think on these things we can all agree. We can all agree, and this is 85% of what's important, and we agree on all of those things. So like I say, I look for signs of hope. And it's interesting that a young lady that I met in March, her name is Hope, and meeting her and her friends gave me a boost of hope, kind of a shot in the arm, if you will. But this Hope is a courageous young woman that since we met in March on the trail at Keene Mountain, she has quit her regular job. She's moved to Colorado, and she's working for an outfitter, helping to take people out in the mountains in Colorado on trips that for most of them are probably bucket list type trips. So it took a lot of courage for her to do that. She's also a photographer. Like me, she has her own little tiny business that she's trying to make happen. So as she's doing this outfitting work, she's taking amazing photographs that just very heartwarming. And a young woman like this, like I said, it's awesome that her name is Hope, because she's one of the reasons that I have hope. So here in the leather shop, I'm making something special for Hope, for her hopefully to be able to make her dreams become a reality. And I'm getting a little choked up here, my apologies. Call me sentimental, but the young people in our country, they're our future. And there's a lot of things that we say about the younger generation that isn't very nice. And granted, you know, like any generation, some of the kids are not exactly the upstanding young Americans that we'd hope they would be, but some of them are. Some of them are awesome, and Hope is one of them. So I'm making something special for her here. Like I said, she's a photographer, and I make kennel bags and saddle bags. I make bottle bags and foam bags and backcinch bags and all kinds of bags for horses and riders. And Hope contacted me. Her friend Stacy had purchased a set of saddlebags from me and a matching kennel bag. And they were special to me because they had been my own bags. Those bags had been my bags, and Stacy had admired them and had asked about them on the trail. And I sold them to her right off the back of my horse, along with the blessings that I put on the bags that I make. I add different things to them and wish every good rider that rides with my bags good luck and safe trails and happy trails, of course. So Stacy has a set of bags and kennel bag, and it wasn't something that Hope could really do at the time, but her new job is going great, and she's called and she says, hey, would you make me a set of saddlebags and kennel bags similar to Stacy's? She says, but I need a special kennel bag. She says, I want to carry my camera in it. I've purchased a canvas bag for behind my saddle. She says, but it's already falling apart. And I really like the candle bags that you made, so we're gonna make something special for Hope. So again, I'm gonna tear up because this is a young female entrepreneur, quit her regular safe job, left her home in Texas and went, halfway across the country to try something completely new, something that's making her heart sing. And so proud to get to make this bag for her. So I've got a good start on it. I had noticed in some of my other work, Hope had really admired the pieces that had a brand on the cow that the leather was made from. So I searched through a bunch of different pieces of pretty thick leather. This is 8 to 9 ounce veg tan leather. And I found a piece that had a pretty good, big, really interesting brand on it that could be on the flap of her new candle bag. And this came together quite well, I think. See if you can see it here. But this flap will come around the top of her bag, and it looks like it's maybe a PB or PIB brand. This particular piece of leather just kind of ended up falling into my lap, and really excited to do this for Hope. So I'm still cutting it out, and I'm gonna put it on a mold after it's all ready to go, but so excited that maybe in some small way my small business can help a wonderful young woman full of hope, named Hope, do something really special on her quest to be a successful photographer and a contributing member of the United States of America. And that's really what it's about. And very excited to see this come together. So that's really the story behind the bag, and I'll have some more stories as we go through the build on this particular one. But I hope you enjoy it, and it's not too sentimental for you, but this is something that's really personal to me, and thought maybe I would share it. Maybe you could enjoy it too. So like I said, I met Hope on a trail ride at Caney Mountain in Arkansas in March of this year, 2022. She was with about a dozen friends, people that she knew from riding horses, and I think maybe she had worked for Stacy. My friend Stacy has a boarding stable in Texas, as I understand it, outside of just on the kind of the edge of the Dallas area. And Stacy had brought her significant other, their 2 boys, and some people that work for them, and a couple of friends, and they had quite a crew there. And we got to know them a little bit as we rode, and as we shared a meal, and stapled a horse's ankle back together again after he'd been hurt. But there was certainly hope in meeting those folks from Texas, because if you listen to the news wants us to feel like we're different, like we want different things, that and I think there's a political agenda out there as well to separate us as Americans and make us easier to lead, make us easier to convince one way or the other is right. And meeting those folks from Texas that I didn't know before, they're just like us. I'm from Iowa, lived here my whole life, and meeting new people gives me hope. Because I gotta tell you, I meet a lot of people on the rides that we do and the places that we go, and they're good people, do anything for you. And young people with them, and 2 of the young men, they're still in high school, but they've already been to farrier school to learn how to shoe horses. And have a lot of respect for that. That is a difficult thing to do. Shoeing horses, well, anytime you're working with horse people, you're going to run into some crazy folks. And it seems like horse people aren't short of crazy people. But those two young men have already been to farrier school to learn a trade, learn a skill that they can fall back on all of their lives, as well as they can do their own horses and their family's horses and maybe save themselves some money. So you know, another thing, along with Hope's story, that gave me hope, because here was a couple of very nice young men. I think they were 17 and 18 at the time, and already making plans for their future, how they were going to contribute, how they were going to stay employed, you know, through good times and bad. And yeah, I was really glad to see that and to hear their stories and watch them laugh and ride and, you know, treat each other and others with respect. Those boys were helpful and smart and willing, and I don't hang out with a lot of those older teen type people anymore, you know, since our boys have grown up and our grandkids are younger than that. But those boys, and actually that whole group of people from Texas, just really helped me ensure or reassure myself that here in the United States, we all have more in common than we do, more things that we have in common that we have that make us different. And it's just good to see. Always makes my heart happy to meet such nice new folks. You know, working with leather is a lot like life. You only get one chance for a first impression. And leather's the same way. You only get one chance to cut it right, to trim it right. It's a pretty unforgiving material to work with. Every hole you punch in it is there forever, and sometimes life's like that too, especially anymore. People seem to have a really hard time forgiving each other and being able to accept that people make mistakes, and sometimes you just gotta forgive them. Leather does not forgive, and humans can, and hopefully they will. Okay, so I think these edges that are going to be toward the outside, I think we got them done. I'll just kind of double check them here. Make sure. Okay, so we're ready to poke some holes in this bag for Hope. Hope has some holes in it. Yep, highest hopes sometimes don't come true, but this bag's going to have some D-rings in it and several rivets to help hold it together, and we're gonna poke some holes into it. Another thing that gives me hope, I'm watching our boys as they become young men. One of them has a family. They both have wonderful careers, and they're preparing for the future. You know, was super happy to see our one son put this year's money into his Roth IRA to plan for the future. And it's scary for him to do without that money right now. And you know, the stock market's all crazy and everything, but he went ahead and put that money in for his future anyway. And I'm so proud of him for that. And our other son has a family, and he's saving for his future too. They're doing what they can, planting a garden, keeping their expenses low, contributing to his 401k, and you know, they're young people, and like I said before, they're our future, and they're doing such an excellent job. There's just so much hope in their generation, and yeah, they're millennials, but they're both wonderful young men, and they're hardworking, and you know, at the tops of their fields, and yeah, that younger generation. You know, like I said before, sometimes we have some things to say about the millennials that aren't that great, but boy, I know some of them, and they're good people. I'm looking forward to the bright future that they have. And like in life, sometimes you have to be ready to switch tools. There's things that we know and tools that we like, but they're not best for every situation. And, you know, this tool here is awesome for punching a bunch of holes in a straight line, and a bunch of holes at a time. But it's not the only tool I can use. Sometimes I need one that pokes a few less holes to get around a curve or into a tight spot, and I have a similar tool that just punches 2 holes at a time. So just like in life, you know, hopefully we're giving our young people the tools that they need to survive this next 50, 60 years of the great changes that are coming for our country. Hopefully we've raised kids that are empathetic and strong, and some of them hard as nails, some of them tough, some of them sweet. We need all kinds of kids out there, all kinds of young people to make sure that our great country can continue to move forward. And like I said, I have hope. So many good young people out there. You gotta know when to switch tools. It works a lot easier when you've got the right tools. So hopefully those of us that are a little older have a little more experience or spending time with the young people. Young people have a different kind of struggle coming up than we did, and if we can arm them with the tools that we have, they'll have a better chance of being successful. Just because we're a little older than we used to be doesn't mean we don't still have a lot to give. So there we go. Another nice set of stitching holes. Give myself some room in case my mold doesn't come out just right. Used a couple of nice tools. Something else that gives me hope. I got to visit with a young man, very successful in what he's doing. He's had his first professional job for 3 years, and he's been Salesman of the Year all 3 years. And you know, wondered, you know, what is it that's made him so successful? You know, right off the start, especially the last 3 years. Selling has been tough, hard to get the items in to deliver to the customer, hard to get people to come out during the pandemic, you know, to test things out. But this young man has a plan. He has a sales plan. He knows what level of activity he needs to keep up to meet his goals, and he's doing it. So it's important to have a plan, and it's so wonderful to meet a young person with a plan. And be able to execute on that plan and move forward. So, yep, this bag for hope is coming together well. Now that all of the holes are in it, we can start doing some of the pretty things to it. I've made a set of saddlebags for her, very similar to the ones that our friend Stacy purchased from me, and they're two-tone, so I'm going to put some marks on here along the edge and show me how to put the two-tone on. And next we'll do just a little bit of tooling on these to give them a little bit of an edge, and put the dragonfly blessing on them that I do on most of the things that I make, and an American flag. These will have a small but distinctive American flag on them, because and I gotta tell you, I'm a patriot. Have a lot of belief that we're going to get through these tough times and things are going to get better. It's a rough time. I'm a trail rider, as many of you know, and if you haven't, you know, please do subscribe to my Iowatrailrider channel. These videos, some of them are pretty sentimental for me, like this one. I've been almost in tears a couple of times, but your subscriptions to the channel help to support the work that I do. And to keep more videos coming, and hopefully the videos are helping people. Videos are helping people. Maybe this one will give somebody a little more hope than they had the day before. And the trail ride videos are helping to get people to enjoy maybe a part of riding horses that they don't get to enjoy themselves, and also give them a preview if they have a bucket list trip or some trip that's important for them, where they get to preview a horse camp. So 90% of the viewers for my videos are not subscribers. And thank every single person that watches a video, but please do consider subscribing as well. And that would be awesome. So on to the next step for Hope's bag. Here's one of the things that I do a lot of times when I make saddlebags. See if you can see what's on here on the back. The dragonflies are kind of another life symbol for me, and I'm going to try and tell this without getting too misty, but we lost both of our parents a few years ago, and almost exactly a year apart. Our mom had ALS, and that's a horrible, terrible disease that no one survives. It's a tough diagnosis. But boy, talk about hope. Our mother faced that probably the greatest challenge of her life with hope. I don't know where she got the energy that she had, but she was upbeat, positive. She did everything she could every day despite her declining health. You know, she lost her ability to talk, to swallow, so you know she couldn't eat. Her body and her muscles declined, but she had hope and she wanted to contribute every day. So this is a woman in her mid-70s that, as she got more and more unsteady on her feet, wanted to continue contributing. She would crawl on all fours down through the rows in her garden and pull out weeds. She could no longer hold her head up, but she had enough control of her arms and her legs that she could crawl. And no kidding, she'd make her way out to that garden and crawl down the rows and pull weeds out of the garden. It was what she could do, and she did it. She made herself a special bag for her walker so that she could use her walker and get around the house and pick up my dad's socks and other things, and she could put them in this bag and put them away and get things into the laundry room after she could no longer really walk on her own. So there's hope in things like that. Somebody at the end of their life doing all that they can to contribute. And that's what we need to keep doing now. We need to keep contributing. You know, even though our country is not in the best place that it's ever been, but there's hope in every single one of us, regardless of what our abilities are. There is something we can do to contribute, and we should be contributing. We all should be contributing. It's just super fabulous. And so our mother did pass away after so much bravery and so much of a positive attitude. Her very last day, we took her to the emergency room. She was having a lot of trouble breathing with ALS eventually. A lot of complications, but struggling to breathe is one of them. And because she couldn't talk, she could still hold a marker and write on a whiteboard. So we're in the emergency room with her, and the palliative care doctor comes in, and he is a silver fox. You know, looks like he just walked out of a soap opera. He's got the hair, the teeth, and the skin, and just a beautiful, beautiful older man. And they chatted a little bit about what her wishes were and what kind of treatment she did and didn't want. Took several minutes, and then he left, and she writes on her whiteboard, and she's kind of almost pounding on it, making exclamation marks. And she holds that whiteboard up and she says, "Wow, what a fox! Did you see him?" What we didn't know is that she was within probably 6 or 7 hours of her death at that point, but she still had her sense of humor, and she was still alive to the very end. And again, hope, even at the last minute, she held on to that hope. So we can do it. Any of us can do it. We're all able, and if we're willing and we can find the strength, even in our darkest hours, if we keep a good attitude, we can all contribute, and we can all band together. It was nice that on my mom's last day, we were with her. We were able to spend the day with her, and on into the evening, and then she was gone. But yeah, in a way, it's a very good day. In a way, it was a bad day. It's hard to lose mom, but it was an end for her, but a beginning for a lot of other things. And she certainly did make an impression on me that even when things aren't going well, that I should look for the bright spots. I should keep my sense of humor, keep moving forward, do all I can, keep contributing. And here I am, crying again. Sorry about that, but anyway, hope you're enjoying the stories, and let's get back to work on Hope's bag. So after a little redesign of the bag for Hope, the new piece here with the longer tabs for the bigger size bag was designed, cut out, hole punched, and now everything is dyed. Let a few hours pass, and won't be long, and it'll be time to take this out and see how our mold went. Okay, let's see how our mold came out. Oh yeah, that looks good. Good, here, take a look. See how that molded in there? And we're back. And check out the nice look on the leather. Yeah. Bunch of oil soaked up, and yeah. It looks great. Okay, well, we've got glue on the bottom of our bag that has the ends molded into it. I believe that at one time our families and our communities were the glue that held our country together. And it sure seems like with the disintegration of our families, so many of them, and our loss of the sense of community, where we don't know our neighbors, we don't rely on each other like we did, seems like that glue needs restored. So I think that might be the key to moving forward in a better place. Yep, so got our D-rings on. This is how this bag will be attached to Hope's saddle. And don't panic when you see these ends. Like, oh my God, they're a completely different color. They're not. They're actually the same color. So, America, let's not focus on color. Really doesn't matter. And this color in particular, once it's oiled, will be the same color as this. So another thing to make me more hopeful for the future of America is less focus on, oh my gosh, look, it's a different color. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna sew the bottom piece in. There we go. It's sewed. And now the hand sewing begins. Not my favorite part. Well, the hand stitching's done. The extra isn't trimmed off yet. Like our country and most of our dreams, and the workmanship in this bag, not perfect. Nope, not perfect, but very good. Well, I don't think any of us need to shoot for perfect. I think that leads to frustration and unneeded anger, disappointment. I think maybe the key to happiness is having realistic expectations. Yeah, let's clean it up nice. So, some beeswax, apply a little friction, get a nice sealed, nice edge, and that's kind of what happens with our country, I think. You know, we've got some friction out there today, and I'm hoping that that friction is going to help to kind of knock down some of the rough edges in our country, our communities between each other, and we're going to come out better for it on the other side. Sometimes it takes a little friction to get where you need to be, get to where it's smooth and safe and sturdy. So yeah, let's hope that friction that's out there in our country is going to end up being a good thing in the long run.